Hi everyone, welcome back to Ask Amy. I have a question here from Caitlin, which I'm excited to get to. But before I get to that question, I just wanted to mention that next Monday, April 16th, in place of Ask Amy, I'm going to be doing a webinar. And it's a totally free webinar. I'm going to put the link to register to that in the comments here. And it's about we'll see what it's about. So I've been really sitting with this, and I think I want to just tell you some stories. I want to tell you a couple stories and really look at kind of how change happens for people in a deeper way. I don't want to spend this webinar telling you a bunch of stuff, sort of like I do here in addressing questions. I've just found this to be a really, really good way of speaking to things in like a real life context. You know, it's not teachy, it's not this is how it works or anything like that. It's just really like real life stories and here, you know, in your real life issues. So I love that. So I think the webinar is going to be really interesting. I can't wait. It's still taking shape, but I know that we're going to look at change and freedom, and I have some really great stories, at least one in particular I'm really excited to share with you. So I think it'll be good. And then in the second half of the webinar, maybe just toward the end of the webinar, I'm going to show people the inside of the Little School of Big Change. So lots of people have asked so many questions about, well, what's it like in there? Like, we kind of know that, you know, people come because they want to see things differently and experience some change. A lot of people come to the school because they have a habit or addiction, or they're just overthinking all the time, or anxiety, or whatever that is that they'd like to have shift. And that's totally what we do, and it's totally what happens for people there. But there are a lot of questions too about, well, how does it happen? And like, what's it like? What's the experience like inside of there? So I'm really excited toward the end of that webinar, I'm gonna share my screen and show you the inside of the school and kind of walk you through it a little bit and show you how it all goes. So again, I'll put the registration information in the comments, and it is a week from right now. It's at 1 o'clock Eastern time, Monday, April 16th. And then the Little School of Big Change opens the week after that. So 2 weeks from today, it'll be open for just 4 days, for a 4-day public enrollment period. So if you're interested, if you've been thinking about it, if you have some change you'd like to make, get on the wait list at littleschoolofbigchange.com, and you'll see all the information, everything you need to see right there, and you'll get it nice and early. And there's some great bonuses too. So let me get to the question for today. Again, it's from Caitlin. So she says, I don't necessarily have massive sudden thoughts or urges to binge eat. It's more like I have this mindset where as soon as I wake up, my brain just doesn't want to try. There's this part of my brain that goes on autopilot. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to watch or listen to podcasts to help me. I don't want to clean my house. I just eat meat and think about what I'm going to eat all day long, even if I don't want to eat. Why is that? How can I snap myself out of this funk? I don't diet or shame myself for eating bad foods. I want to work out. I love working out. But most days when I wake up, I'm automatically in the mindset of I don't want to try. I let my automatic brain take over, and I mindlessly eat all day long and think about food. How can I get out of this mindset? I overthink things so much, but on these days, I don't think at all. And she says there's no balance. And in a little follow-up email I had with Caitlin, she mentioned that she has all of these all or nothing thoughts. You know, like that kind of looked like the issue. Like, my mind is so all or nothing. Things can go well, and then she just has these days where it's just, shoot, nothing's going to happen, autopilot, just eat all day and not think. And you know, yours is around food, Caitlin, but again, like I always say, it could be about anything. This is how a mind works. This has nothing to do with binge eating in particular. It's not special or unique to that habit. It's just how a mind works, and people find this even with working and doing other things in life. They're either all in or they're not at all. And that, I know it creates so much tension for us, because we can all see that there's a middle ground that just makes sense. You know, we all are in that middle ground, in that balance sometimes. But I used to live like this as well. It can feel so hard and frustrating to be in this kind of all or nothing. And both of them take a lot of energy. The all definitely takes a lot of energy and it wipes us out. And then we tend to swing over to the other side into kind of what you're describing here, Caitlin, into this kind of screw it mode, where it's like, okay, autopilot, just, but that isn't easy either, because even in that we feel horrible. And in the back of our minds, we're like, why? And how do I get out of this? And I just want to feel normal and like myself. So both of them take a lot of energy. So the thing I want to kind of pull out from what you mentioned here is where you say, I overthink things so much, but on these days, I don't think at all. And I know like this all or nothing thinking, or this lack of balance, or whatever label we want to give it, that can look like the problem. And what you mostly describe here, Caitlin, is those days where you're like, screw it, I'm just going to do what I do, and I don't want to do anything, and I can't even try. Like that kind of looks like the problem. And so you want to get out of that mindset. But you point to it right here when you say, I overthink things so much, and then I just can't even try anymore. So it's one extreme is going to go to the other. And so in a sense, these days of just kind of being on autopilot and tuning out and not trying, as hard as this is to see, I want you to kind of see, well, that's a natural solution in a sense. That's your mind saying, I'm fried, I'm overheated, like I can't do anymore. So we're going to swing over here, not think, tune everything out, just eat, just have comfort, just do whatever's easiest, in those moments, as a way to kind of recover from all that overthinking. So I think you see that, but I also know it's very tempting to be very much in the, oh my gosh, why am I, just eating all day, and trying to fix that as if that's a problem. And that's not the problem. It isn't the problem for any of us. It's actually kind of the solution. And the bigger problem, if we want to call it that, is that we just are so fried the other times. So anything that works really hard, I'm trying to think of like a car can overheat, if you take a car that's not in great shape up a really tall mountain and you drive the heck out of it, it's going to start to overheat, right? That's just kind of how that car works. It only has so much in it. A sprinter, people can sprint, and you can sprint really hard, and you can get really good, and you can sprint as hard as you can. But at some point you're going to stop, and you need to, and that's built into the system. It's a wonderful thing. And our mind works in that way also. So again, it's really easy to kind of look and say, yeah, but I want to sprint harder and longer, and I want my car to go further. And that's okay to a point. But it's also great to see that we have a natural kind of check and balance system built into us. And that, Caitlin, if you're spending a lot of time overthinking and you're feeling that and it's weighing on you, of course, at some point, and it's a wonderful thing that at some point you can't do that anymore. It's sort of like the check and balance that's built into us. So again, the more we can kind of see, okay, this is just how we work, not a problem you need to overcome, not anything you need to do to not have these days where you relax so much, but kind of just noticing, okay, when I'm in my head a lot, it starts to weigh on me. And you'll know that by how you feel. So the bigger question here is kind of seeing, okay, can we see that when we're in these big ups and downs, and the all and the nothing, all of it is us in our heads. I think of like a boat, think of a boat going across the open sea. The design of that ship is that it's in balance, but it's never perfectly in balance, but it stays in balance enough that it doesn't tip over, right? But the design of the ship is that it stays upright. There's a balance there that's innate to the design of that ship. And that's the same with you. We have balance. Balance is our nature. And then we have thinking that we can get kind of caught up in at times, just like waves on the surface of the ocean that are going to rock that ship all over the place. So when we're in this all or nothing, very extreme, very high energy, very emotional kind of thinking, we just want to keep going back to the basics and saying, okay, this is my mind creating this big experience, these huge swings, like the ship is really rocking, but it's okay because the design is that it's going to come back into balance on its own. When you're on the ocean and you're really rocking over this way, everyone on the ship doesn't have to run the other way to balance it out. We know that's built in. It's built in. It's going to happen. And the more we just know, okay, I'm on a safe vessel that has balance as its fundamental design, and I'm on an ocean where there's lots of ups and downs and lots of stuff happening. So both are going to happen. You're going to feel the swings and you're going to balance out. You start to just know what's inevitable, and you can rest in that a little bit more. So Caitlin, that's really where I want you to look here. It isn't about, oh my gosh, why do I let myself just eat all day and not go to the gym and like just fall into this abyss, where I'm just not doing anything. Just take that as information. Take that as feedback. It's because, like you said, on the other times we're overthinking so much, and that's just kind of what's going to happen. But the more that we can let our thinking go wherever it goes and know that there's a safe place beneath that, where we don't need to fix, we don't need to correct for the waves, we don't need to correct for those swings. We just know how we work. It's really amazing how quickly and naturally and easily and kindly we fall back into that balance, really. Balance is your nature. You don't need to do a thing to get yourself back there. You don't need to learn anything or bring anything in. The more we can kind of relax and look toward that whole design in our nature, the more you find yourself there. So I hope this is helpful to you, Caitlin. And again, this isn't about binge eating or exercise or anything in particular. This is for everyone. We all have moments like this, and we're all designed in the exact same way. So this is going to be really helpful for anyone who's finding themselves. I get a lot of questions about this. I'm such a black or white thinker, or I'm very all or nothing. How do I fix that? And it's just seeing a mind is black or white. A mind does overthink. A mind is very all or nothing. But that's okay. Our mind does that. And that's not us. It does that, and we can learn to let go from that and look a bit deeper. So thanks so much for being here. Again, next Monday at this time, instead of this format, I'll be doing the webinar. So I'll put the link in the comments, and I would love to see you there. And please send your questions to AskAmy at thelittleschoolofbigchange.com, and we'll get back to those in a couple weeks. So thanks so much for being here. Have a great day.